Today on For the Love of Designing, we're making a cow print outfit, which will comprise 5 pieces. 1 top, 1 long skirt, 1 short skirt, and 2 unattached sleeves. Ooh, look what I found. Okay, this is my beautiful cow print material I found. I bought 2 yards. I'm hoping that's gonna be enough. It's like velour, but it's not furry, and it's got like a soft texture to it. And this is the back side. Okay, so this is going to be a 2-piece outfit. I'm gonna put elastic up here, skirt and the shirt. I've now got the top designed the way I kind of want it right now because I'm just trying to get the form of the dress, and I'm not sure if I want it to be, well, it's not gonna be a long dress, although you could have a long dress, but I think because I want extra material, I'm going to take it and I'm gonna cut it off to about here. We're gonna kind of make a short dress. If you wanted to, you could leave all the pleats in it like this and just have it kind of a flowy dress. I'm trying to decide right now if I want it tighter around the bottom, like that, and a little poofy up, a little puff up here. And all this is I got a belt out of my closet. Let me show you. So this is basically all it is. All I've done was run some elastic around the top. With this option, you could do anything. Then later, if I want, I can put some little straps. You know, I could put some little straps on there. Okay, so I've decided this is how I'm going to design it. I'm actually going to make this a half piece. This is going to be a skirt, and this is going to be a shirt. So I've decided I want to pull it a little tighter, and then a little flowy around the bottom because it's baggy here, so I kind of wanted it tighter here. And I've simply just wrapped the material around it right now, just to kind of get an idea how I want to design it. Okay, so I'm getting ready to cut this right now. I hung the material right about under my neck and then put a pin in it about to my waist so I would know where to cut my material. My pin's right here, but I think I want to go down a little lower because I need to fold the bottom piece and run elastic through the bottom as well as the top. So I'm a little off with the marking that I made, so I'm going to go down a little further. I'm just going to kind of cut this straight, as straight as I can get it. So if I'm going to do a little more, so I'm going to cut below the pin. So, and it's okay if it's a little crooked here because I've got plenty right here. So I know my line's not straight. I just want to take this off because we're not going to be using any of this. Okay, so now we're going to go and do the bottom like we did the top. Okay, so I've just cut this, and I have a lot of it because remember you're gonna run elastic through the top. So I just wanted to make sure that I had enough, you know, to gather it. I like to work with more material than I really need. So the next step is that I'm gonna run elastic through the top. I'm gonna put elastic through the bottom. We're gonna make like a tube top. I'm making the top right now. So I wanna lay my elastic right about here. I wanna flip that over. I put a safety pin at the end. That way later, when I run it through here, I have something to hang on to as I'm running it through. But for right now, we're going to lay the material out straight. And I'm gonna flip this over. This is going to be the top of the shirt. So I'm just gonna do it like this, put pins through here. I'm not pinning the elastic. I just wanna get the edge of the material. So we're gonna do that all along here. I wanna do all this, most of this, because I want my shirt to have a little gatherings at the top. we're going to just pin this all down so that I know where to sew. I put all my pins in there, and this is the reason why I want to keep the pin on the end, because later I'm going to need to run it through. But for right now, it's got the pins, so I've gathered it all up. Now this is so that I can see how I may want this. This tells me if I've got enough before I sew it up. Just so you don't forget that this is only the top piece. So I'm just gonna tie my elastic in a knot back here. And so this is what it's gonna look like when I get finished. And then I'm also gonna take and do the bottom the same way. Okay, so now I've taken my elastic out. I still have my pins in there. So I'm going to sew it all the ways down. I've sewn all this straight across. And now I want to take my pins out. So I'll take all my pins out. And the reason for the safety pin on the end of the elastic is so that it's easier to work the elastic through there, see. Okay, so I've got my elastic through there, and I didn't go the whole way because I didn't think I wanted that much right here. It all depends on if you want it really baggy or kind of tight. Now remember, if you don't have a mannequin, you can always take it and then just put it around yourself. I just want to make sure I have enough here that how I wanted it. And yeah, I think that looks good. We're gonna do the bottom similar to the way we did the top. We're just gonna run some elastic through here. Or actually if you don't want elastic through here, you can just let it hang like a shirt. I would rather have elastic in the bottom. I've just gotten done with the bottom. See how I've done it the same as the top. Elastic's gonna go here. I haven't put the elastic in it yet on the bottom. I've got all this extra elastic because I didn't want to cut it before I run it through there because I wanted to make sure I had enough. So I want to mark it right, probably about here. That way I know where to cut it. And I don't have to mark this one because that's the end of it there. So I just want to mark one side when I get ready. So I'll take and cut it. I like to just take and cut it a little more, give myself a little extra. So I'm gonna cut it there. Then we're gonna do the same with this piece around the bottom. And this is what I didn't use. So later I'll cut that away. And then later we're gonna sew the back of it up. I've got the shape of the top how I want it. I usually go with the shape first, and then I like to design it. I put the elastic in the bottom and the top. See how I marked the back? Inside I put a little T for the top part. This is the bottom of my elastic, and I wanted that a little bigger because we're a little more bigger on the hips. You want a little more through here because you might want to wear it down on the hips. I know what I don't need on here, and I've already sewn it, so I don't want to cut into where I sewed it. So I don't want to work with all this because it gets in the way. So now my next step, I'm going to sew the elastic inside here so it'll stay together. You got to get it exactly how you want it on top. You don't want it too loose because it'll be falling down. We're going to sew this. Then I'm going to take my material and I'm going to finish sewing this, and I'm going to sew it up the back. And it'll basically be like a tube top. After you get the shape of how you want it, then you can kind of you can do anything you really actually want. You could make a little choker to go around the neck, maybe do some straps. Okay, so we're gonna do the skirt right now to go with the top. And we're gonna do it just like we did the top with the elastic around the top and the bottom. So I'm gonna sew this up, and then we're gonna run some elastic through there. So it's supposed to fit something like this. I want my skirt a little tighter on the top. Here's what I want my outfit to look like. I've got it kind of all set up the way I want it. Here's what I like to do. I like to put it around the mannequin. Just kind of design it, see how I want it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have a split up the side. I'm gonna take and sew this halfways. It's gonna have a split. And we're gonna put some more elastic around the waist, which I've already done, but I haven't sewn it yet. I haven't cut my elastic yet because I don't really know like exactly how much I want around the waist. We're not gonna worry about that right now. You can just sew it all the way up the side, make a long dress out of it. But I think what I'm going to do is make like a little split up the side. So I know I don't need all this material. I'm going to cut it as it's on the mannequin. So I want to give myself a little extra. It's easier to work with without all the material. I left myself a little extra, you know, just in case something goes wrong and you need more material. My next step will be to sew it up the side and sew the elastic in. I kind of know how much I need around the waist for myself. So before I take it all apart, I'm going to put a mark on there. That's so when I take it apart, then I kind of know where I'm supposed to sew it together. And I've got a safety pin in there right now. So I've marked that, and I want to put my safety pin back in here. So that way, when I take it off the mannequin, I'll know where to connect it to. And then I have extra material here, but I'll cut that away later, some of that. We're going to sew this up right now. We're gonna attach the elastic in the waist, and then I'm going to sew up the side halfways. We're gonna sew up the side up about to the felt pin, and then what I don't use, I'm gonna cut away. We're going to sew up the side now halfways. I'm only gonna go halfways. I've only sewn up halfways. Do you see all the extra material I have? Okay, so I've cut away a little bit for the opening on the side. It's not really enough for me, so what I'm going to do is just kind of cut away a little more. So as you can tell, I'm going straight down and kind of out. So I'm going like diagonally. Okay, so I want to show you guys what it looks like. So I've got to split up the side now. I don't know if I'm going to hem it a little shorter or do I want to keep it as a long dress. I'll decide that later. So you've just seen me make a long skirt, and now I want to do a short skirt, and I'm going to do it the same way I did the long one. Okay, so here's the shorter skirt that I've made, and as you can tell, we put elastic on the top, and I'm getting ready to hem the bottom of it up. It's done just like the longer one, except I wanted to make a shorter one this time. This one's gonna go right above the knees. So we're gonna go hem it up now. What I wanna do is, I wanna make some like sleeves, and they're gonna have elastic around the bottom and just around the top up here. And it's going to look like this, where they come off. Okay, so we're going to make the sleeves now for the cowl dress, and I've doubled my material. I'm going to cut it right here, and this is supposed to make 2 sleeves, and it's going to look something like this. And we're going to have elastic around the sleeve on the bottom, and we're going to have elastic up here. So the sleeves are not going to actually be attached to the dress. You're going to be able to wear them if you want with the dress. You can get an old shirt or something that's got a sleeve and just lay it on here, but I kind of know how much I need, so I'm going to put it like about here. So I want to get a little extra because I need to double this to run the elastic in. So you want a little extra on both ends. Let me measure this again. Okay, so remember I said you want a little extra at both ends. take my felt pen. I'm just going to kind of mark it right here. That way I kind of know this is gonna be extra. Okay, so now we're going to cut it. And you want to try to get it as even as you can on both ends. So this is extra. I actually might do something with it. Actually, where I put the dot, I don't want to cut all this off yet because we have to double this. I need to run my elastic through it and then double it or fold it over. So I'm not going to cut away all the bottom yet because I'm going to work with the top first. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to make 2 sleeves out of this. So I'm going to take and fold it again, and I'm only going to cut one side. I don't need to cut this, because if I cut this, then I'll just have to sew it together. So we only need to cut like in the middle. I'm just going to cut it as straight as I can cut it. Let's see how I did it. Yeah, it's just about right. Okay, so now I've got 2 pieces, and we'll have to sew this one up on both sides. And the reason I didn't want to cut this was because now all I have to do is sew it up on one side. I want to see how much I need for my elastic. You don't want a whole bunch hanging over the side, because then your elastic's going to move around. I'm going to take and pin it so I know where to sew it. Okay, so now I'll go and sew this. And we can pull the elastic out. Around my arm, let's see. Because you don't want it too tight. Well, we may have a little too much, but we'll see. So we're going to sew it now. And I still have my pins in it because I don't want my material moving around. So I'm running the elastic through there now. I've already sewn it up right there. So now we want to run the elastic through there. So now I want to see how much I need to put around my arm. So I want to take this and kind of hook it onto there so it doesn't pull all the way back through. So now I'm almost through with one sleeve. So it's going to go something like this. It's going to have sleeves that can come off and on. So next thing we want to do is make sure you have enough elastic that's going to fit the arm, because you don't want it too tight, you don't want it too loose. So I'm thinking somewhere right there maybe, because I don't want it too tight. It'd be easier if you had a short sleeve shirt on. Okay, so I had to put on a short sleeve shirt so I could see how much I needed to cut off. This is a little hard to do it on your own self, but you just need to kind of know how much you need. You don't want it falling down, you don't want it too loose, too tight. What would I say about that? Feels comfortable to me. As you can see, I have way too much material, but I always like a lot of extra material because you never know how much you're going to need, and once you cut it off, you can't get it back. So my fingertips go about to here, so I'm going to cut some off because it's kind of getting in the way now, so I need to take some off. But remember, you have to double it, so you have to make extra room for your elastic to go through. This is probably an easier way. Just get a piece of elastic kind of know where your fingers are. So I want to take it and put it to there. So I would say probably about right where I put my dot. I want to cut that. But I'm going to cut a little below there so I have enough room to double it. Okay, so let's hope I didn't cut too much off. So I'm going to try and put it on my arm again. I probably need to cut a little more away. Just a little bit more. My elastic again. I probably need to go about here. I was wrong when I said I needed to go below the dot. That's way too much. Now remember, you might want to pull your sleeves up a little higher, or you might want to wear them down a little lower. For me, I want to cut a little more away. It's okay if you have to keep cutting away because you don't want to cut too much off. Then you don't have enough material. So I think this will do it. Because I have to fold it like that to match the top. Okay, so I'm going to take and pin it. Just to kind of see if I have enough now. So I think that'll be just right. Now you can also do short sleeves if you want to cut them way up to here and just do little short sleeves. But I want long sleeves. The way we did the top is the same way we're going to do the bottom. We're going to make sure the elastic runs through there. And then we're going to sew it up. Okay, so we're going to do the top just like we did the bottom. And you just have to make sure you have enough room in there for your elastic to go through. Okay, so this is what my sleeve is supposed to look like. And I actually put a safety pin in it. I haven't sewn it yet, but I put a safety pin in it so I could kind of see if it's going to fit up on my arm. And it actually feels pretty good. I don't want it too tight, I don't want it too loose. And so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to sew my elastic because I have my safety pin in it so I know where I'm going to sew it. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. When I sew this, I'll probably go in a little more and then cut some of this away because I want the sleeve a little tighter at the arms. When I sew it up, I'm going to kind of come in a little bit because I don't want this real baggy. And when you get done with this, you can actually use it as a pattern, lay it on your other material, and see how much you need. So, as you can see, I have my short skirt on, but it doesn't really matter because I have a long one too that I can wear. But the thing is I can pull my sleeves off and I can grab a little jacket and I can wear it with the short skirt or the long skirt and I'm ready to go out.
Mise meow meow. If you like what you saw, please give the subscribe button a pop and check out another video here.